Hey, Donna fans, you're tuned in to the AFTERBUZZ TV app. The AFTERBUZZ TV after show for Ray Donovan, season 4 episode. Yeah, let's do that. My bad. Yes. Sure. Hey, Donna fans, you're tuned in to the AFTERBUZZ TV after show for Ray Donovan, season 4 episode 8, The Texan. Join us as we break down the episode and give you our thoughts and predictions. Let's go.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I think it's time for me to figure me out.
Take me back to high school.
This is a Connor-centric episode, and it feels apropos. Welcome on in, everybody. Thank you for listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV After Show for Ray Donovan. I am your lead host, Frank Maiorana. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Let's Go Frank M. I'm joined by, the lovely, the talented, it's McCall Hall.
Greetings, everybody. It's your girl, McCall Hall. You can find me on social media when sports and pop culture collide at McCall Hall.
So, McCall Hall,
I'm feeling like a Texan, though, today.
feeling like the Texan. We have the Texan tonight. Great episode. We're not going to talk in these accents the whole time, but we just got to play around with it a little bit.
Just wanted to give you a couple seconds of that good old Texan Southern hospitality.
Absolutely. So we start the show, as always, with our social media shout-outs. Be sure to use that hashtag out there, ABTV Ray Donovan on Twitter. Comment directly on our YouTube page for our show. And I want to address something just right at the top of the show last week. I incorrectly referred to Stacy Keach, who plays the Texan, as Stacy Dash. Who is
that is just disrespectful.
it was a mistake. The last name sounded close, which is how I'm going to defend myself, but it's really an indefensible error to equate those two people who are couldn't be even more different. And we had plenty of people reach out online to remind me of that mistake. So I'm glad you guys are all engaged out there and listening to every last name that I say.
That's actually quite flattering. That's
Yeah,
flattering.
it really is. You know what? Everybody had really good humor about it and was just like, hey, I was just coming here to say this, really funny stuff. So
That means they hang on to your every word, as do I.
oh my goodness. Oh, you're giving me certain feelings right now that we're gonna have to take care of off the air. Let me quote a couple people who commented on our YouTube page. First of all, I think Ron Miller had a really good comment here. He said, I didn't even realize that Reginald VelJohnson was on the show last week, who was Carl Winslow in Family Matters. Yes. He was, on last week. It was so great to see him. And he said, I didn't know it was Reginald VelJohnson until I watched this, but I did know that it was Stacy Dash. I mean Keach, LOL. Sorry, had to do it. And he thanked us for reading his prediction at the beginning of the show, and I just did it again, Ron. So,
Ron, you're the man.
Thank you for listening out there. And then our other really good superfan, Unrepentant Snafu, something that he didn't understand about the show a few episodes back. To get Detective Muncie from using Mickey, didn't Ray have him declared mentally incompetent or something? And that's true. I believe he declared a power of attorney over Mickey. And Snafu goes on to say, wouldn't that have made Mickey's confession invalid or inadmissible? And let's just get right into this topic off the top. Mickey gets out of jail this week, and I think, what Snafu's saying is kind of right, because as Mickey was trying to give an explanation of how he was able to kill all of the Manassians at once, which obviously he was not, the detective really wasn't buying it. So they kind of had a weak case against him to begin with, and, it could have gotten to the point down the road where, Ray could have said he had a power of attorney declared over his father, and it just wasn't the case. So what do you think of Mickey getting out this week? Were you happy? What did you see?
I was happy.
Yeah.
I was happy because he went in with a spirit of sacrifice. Like when
That's so true.
when somebody sacrifices, you're happy when they actually get rewarded.
Absolutely.
That's why I was happy he got out.
Yeah. He got out, and you're right. The character is really growing this season.
Yeah.
And you're seeing him, and he said it this episode too, I'm putting other people's interests first. And he thinks it's about time to do that. We'll talk about Bunchie in a second, but he takes Bunchie on a road trip and is willing to put others ahead of him. And I think it's been the truest pleasure to watch this season so far.
He's grown a lot.
Yeah.
But all of the men have grown.
Yeah.
All of the men have grown, and they've tapped into I don't know if I want to even say a feminine side, but a nurturing side that they didn't have before.
Well, in even a more masculine side where you're taking responsibility for your actions and you're trying
Very true.
to grow up and stand up as a as a real man. I just want to say really quickly, there's some big news that came out this week, and that is that Ray Donovan was renewed for season 5.
Yeah.
So a full season is coming next year, and so I'm really excited about that. And
That's always exciting.
yeah, it's great. It's great for the crew and the cast. So congratulations to everybody out there on the creative team of Ray Donovan for, putting together a great show. The ratings keep growing. Our listenership here is continuing to grow, and so it's a true pleasure to watch and review the show.
The beauty of Ray Donovan, every season, they don't push it so far to where it expands to a point where it's like, well, what can you do next?
Yeah.
They leave you with just enough that you want more.
Yeah, absolutely. And this season specifically, we are wanting more in a new way, not more violence and blood and, Ray fixing things, but more of these characters growing, like you were saying before, becoming more family men. I thought some of the most interesting parts about tonight was, when Ray goes and does the, Dance Revolution
was
with
cute.
Connor in the living room. I mean, was that Ray dancing? I mean,
Yeah.
we never see
He
that.
shook his butt. He shook his butt. I saw it.
I didn't notice that part. I'm glad you did.
I was just admiring his nice physique.
Of course.
You
Liev
know.
Schreiber's in good shape.
Not the typical dad bod.
No.
No.
You think it's more than that?
I mean, he has beyond dad bod.
Mm-hmm.
Way better. Okay, we're getting off topic.
We're getting sweaty over here talking about Liev Schreiber. No, I think the way the episode started was really good. We had the Texan in the hospital room, and I mentioned this last week that it seemed like Ray was sort of looking into his future, seeing the Texan.
Right. I felt that way too.
Yeah. So when he's in the hospital talking to him, when Ray is in the hospital talking to the Texan, I thought that was a really interesting scene. He asks about, how he got involved, how Ezra had it, and, Stacy Keach just played the role so well and just had such a big impact for such a small role because that could be Ray in the future, especially with his daughter there.
Yeah, that was the tie-in with his daughter.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, this is at the end of the episode, but when he said that everything that he has done has been for you,
Yeah.
I mean, Ray can look at himself and say that about his own kids.
Yeah, I think that's what he was saying because there's no way Ray could know why the Texan did what he did. I really think exactly like you just said, that was Ray really speaking for himself to his daughter. He sort of equates that girl to be his daughter as well and say, everything I did for you.
I feel like Ray has a hard time expressing himself to his own children, but then he has situations in his work where he interacts with people who remind him of his kids, and then he's able to tell them or have an interaction with them that he probably would like to have with his own kids.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Because I don't know if he has this episode. I see him dive in a little bit more as a parent, but I feel like he's always reserved when it comes to really voicing himself with his kids.
Yeah, and we saw that this episode with the scene we just talked about, and I think it carried over because when Ray comes home from the hospital, he goes right into doing something totally out of character, which is playing the dance game with Connor. As soon as Connor comes on the screen, I am instantly frustrated and want him to be gone. But I will say that this episode was the most interesting for Connor, and he actually had a pretty good line where he said, all of my family is from Boston, and I'm just some prick from Calabasas.
Yeah.
I love that line. Because it is true. You're a stupid little teenage prick.
You are a prick.
Yeah.
And the first step is admitting.
Yeah.
The first step to recovery is admitting.
Yeah, and he admitted that he's not sure who he is and he's going through some troubles. And when he brought it down a notch and got real, that's when that was really the first time all season and really all series where I went, Connor's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
He's going through something, and if they keep it that way, where he's not trying to act like a douchebag all the time, he may actually be interesting to watch.
But, and again, I know this is acting.
Yeah.
And maybe this is a credit to the production team and to the writers, but it frustrated me so much because even when Connor was trying to have a a dialogue with his parents, he seemed disrespectful. The assholes, the cursing. I just don't know how that would fly in any. I just don't know. I just feel like at some point, I wish Ray would have just popped him in the mouth.
Yeah, I agree with you. He didn't get grounded. I mean, he shot a gun at somebody's house.
There wasn't like a real discipline.
Yeah, exactly. It's not as if, I mean, could you imagine doing that as you were a kid?
Hell no.
I mean, your family would ground you. You'd be in big trouble. I mean, not, oh, let's go to the shooting range and I'll train you how to shoot the gun you just shot at somebody.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Never
just a huge repercussion would have been coming. Oh my gosh, for me, I can't even imagine what would have happened to me. Grounded for months, you know, no homecoming, no prom, you know, all that stuff would have been taken away. And Connor, I think, plays his parents well to make them feel guilty about the fact that they're not great parents and Ray hasn't always been there.
Yeah.
And he uses that to his advantage to get off very, very lightly.
I'm surprised. No, tell me, were you expecting Ray to really break down everything he does to Connor? Because Connor kind of, you know, he pressed him. He wanted to know, what do you do? Like, I want to know more about what you do. Why do you have a gun?
Yeah, there's a part of this where Connor is disconnected from his dad and largely of Ray's creation. I don't think it's to the level where Connor's got to, you know, be in his room working out, looking at 80s porn and, you know, fantasizing about guns. He's really rebelling because his dad hasn't been there. So I guess I understand. I guess just the kid is just so annoying that it's hard for me to sympathize with him. But to answer your question, no, I didn't expect Ray to break down, you know, everything that's going on with his job. He wouldn't tell Connor all the grisly details because I think somewhere deep down, he doesn't want Connor to follow in his footsteps. He wants him to go to school and have a legit job and not have to do all the awful things that Ray has done.
Yeah.
You think the same?
I think the same, but with parenting, they always say, like, this is a united front. You know what I mean? So Abby and Ray should probably have had this conversation. We don't want the kids to know anything about it. We don't want them to go down that path. Yeah. So that's why I was shocked when Abby took him to the gun range. Because that's almost, if you don't want your kid to do what Ray's doing, don't even encourage it anymore. So why would you take him to the gun range? That's what threw me off about it.
Yeah. I think in her twisted logic, it was to say, a gun's not a toy. You need to be properly trained in this. We don't know how old Connor is. I don't think he's 18 yet. I don't think he'd be able to own a gun yet. And there were some scenes tonight where I was watching the episode and Ray would, you know, Connor would have some stupid comeback. Like, you have a gun. And I would have said as a father, yeah, because I'm an adult and I'm trained in it. And you're a snot-nosed little kid and you are not responsible enough to have one.
The whole time when they were having this dialogue, I'm like, when are you going to just set him straight? Yeah. Now, when he roughed him up, I was semi-happy. But there wasn't like the hammer that got dropped on Connor. He never got the hammer.
Yeah, I think the scared straight street scene was a little bit overwritten. I don't know any dad who would have drove his kid downtown and left him on a city street with a gun in his hand. Right. I guess, you know, it's Ray's way of parenting, I guess. You know, the way I accept it as an audience member is to say, well, Ray really doesn't know how to handle these other things. I mean, Connor said another stupid line tonight where he said, I know how to take care of myself. And Ray should have said, you what? You just acted totally irresponsibly. You're not even close to being able to take care of yourself.
When he said that, I just rolled my eyes like, boy, shut up.
I know.
You really are just a prick. Like, when he said that, I just want to just curl up in a ball and just die.
Yeah.
Like,
he needs a good butt kicking.
He's delusional. He thinks he's responsible. He thinks he can handle so much. Yeah. But he really is just a prick.
Did you feel that way as a teenager, though? Like, I don't need my parents. I just need to be, like, my own. No?
No.
Okay.
That's not how it went down in my house. You know, you got reminded daily.
Okay.
Don't get too grown out here. Yeah.
I think it was a little bit different for me. I definitely rebelled against my parents as I was getting older, and especially right before I was going to college when I knew I wasn't going to have to see them anymore. I was not, you know, the friendliest, and, you know, you couldn't tell me what to do because I'm going to be gone in a month. And so there were definitely times where I felt like that. But look at me now. here we are.
I have hope for Connor because of you.
Oh my goodness! Stop it!
I have hope for Connor.
Stop it! Well, we'll have to see what happens with Connor, and maybe a little bit later on we'll have some predictions about Connor. But I want to move into to the Bunchie storyline tonight, which I thought was really touching and real. And I want to read from an article here that was on the Huffington Post. It's by Andrew Christie about Dash Mihawk, who plays Bunchie. And a really interesting fact that I didn't know about Dash is that he was diagnosed with Tourette's syndrome at age 6. So he got into acting and performing as a way to hide his tics. So clearly he's not letting it stop him, and he only made himself proficient in every area of performing. He's a spokesperson for the Tourette's Syndrome Association and Jalen's Challenge. And, you know, he's a rapper. He sings.
He's a rapper?
Yeah, he is a rapper. He has rap videos out there. And just such a great actor. I can remember, seeing him in Silver Linings Playbook, and he's also been in Sleepers and Romeo and Juliet with Leo DiCaprio and Claire Danes. So Dash has been around, and he's such a solid talent. And tonight I felt was a showcase episode for him. That scene between him and Maria, bedside, where he says, "I used to jerk off to Wonder Woman, and you're my Wonder Woman," I thought was surprisingly touching.
That was very touching.
Yeah.
It was the grand gesture that Mick talked about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when you really let down your walls like that. I mean, that's letting down your walls.
And being very vulnerable.
Super vulnerable. Super vulnerable. I like that scene a lot.
Yeah. It was a man putting himself on the line to win his woman back. And Teresa's postpartum depression has been one of the revelations of the show this season, because it's not something that really is dealt with a whole lot on TV. I can't recall anything that I've seen in the past that really dives deeply into this.
And the fact that, I mean, as we learned tonight, that she's had so many issues, in the past, that postpartum, I mean, she's probably never really had the right amount of care. I mean, she's been in and out of the hospital, but she probably hasn't taken care of herself the way she should have. She probably didn't even need to have the baby. She was probably 5 years from needing to have that baby, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. And well, let me ask you this, because I have a certain opinion about the family. And the family said, she's been having issues all her life and we're over it. And, Bunchie says, we don't give up on our family. Do you sympathize with the family at all? Did you, with her brother and the instances that he was giving of, having to deal with somebody like that all her life, and now they're just over it and they're done?
I can't answer that one. I can't say that I sympathize with them or I don't sympathize. What I will say is, I think that they have taught her a terrible, terrible habit, because now she's turning her back on her own child. Yeah. And that baby's only, 3 weeks old? Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, even through, because women have postpartum all the time, but like to completely disconnect and not want the child is like an extreme case. And I think part of it is because she's so used to her family turning their back, she's doing the same thing to her kid. Yeah. And I think she's going to pull out of it, though. Oh, I should save that for the end. Oh, yeah, save that for the end.
I should not have said that. But, yeah, I thought, Dash was great tonight. And just a little fun fact real quick. Alanis Morissette wrote a song about him one time called So Pure.
This man is legendary.
Yeah, so he's a really big deal, but he plays such a low-key character that you don't recognize it. And,
no, you don't.
But he's really so good, and if you see him in other films and TV shows and the like, I'm genuinely surprised seeing those other shows, because I'm primarily introduced to him through this show and seeing him as Bunchie. So when you see him act as a high status character as opposed to Bunchie, who's a little bit more low status, it's a genuine surprise. But it made me really appreciate his talent.
I'm gonna have to follow him on Instagram tonight.
Yeah, you should. He puts out his music videos that he's got going on.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's got so much going on in front of the camera, behind the scenes. I mean, he's got his hands in everything. I need to follow him on IG.
Yeah, and it just, it lends credence to the depth of the cast here, that you have, such an accomplished actor. Eddie Marsan too, who plays Terry, is incredible and has been, in so many movies. This show is so deep, and it has so many people in great positions. And we've seen, Reginald VelJohnson last week, Stacy Keach this week and last week. Just so many legendary actors coming to play one-day roles or, one episode roles.
That's what I was going to say. There are a lot of actors here who have been almost stars on their own shows.
Yeah, Lisa Bonet is playing Marisol. Yeah,
These
Cosby Show. Yeah,
and they're all kind of, I'm not going to say playing second fiddle, but they're playing supporting roles. Like, there's a star player, but they're all coming in just because they believe in the body of work.
Yeah, they all believe in this story, and it's really interesting. The story is now more than ever the family tree coming together, growing together, not letting someone fall off the branches. The Donovans stick together through thick or thin, and sometimes they hate each other, but at the end of the day, they don't want to lose each other.
No.
And so I thought, just to wrap up this point, I thought Dash Mihok's performance tonight was really heroic in the context of the show, going and getting his wife back. And while she's not fully back just yet, he got her in the car, and, he won a small victory there. And I predicted last week, I kind of made a joke to Olivia. I was saying, wouldn't it be great to see her come back and put on her wrestling gear and start all over again? And and he brought the wrestling gear tonight.
That was cute. What I will say about him telling the brother that the Donovans don't give up on one another, if I were the brother, I would actually feel better about my sister being with this family. I would feel like if I did turn my back and I never talk to her again, I know she's with a good group of folks.
Yeah.
I'd rest easier at night after he said that to me.
The brother also said, when she found you, we thought she was over these issues. But obviously she was not. So, I have mixed feelings about them. I guess I can understand, just being so worn down by somebody. And I think a lot of people have that, person in their life that really taxes them, taxes your energy. And sometimes if you spend too much time caring about what's going on in their life, then you kind of just get too wrapped up in it.
You do. But, I mean, how old could this girl be?
Yeah.
I mean, he was breaking down, like, the years that she had issues. You're her brother.
Yeah.
Like, where were the parents?
Exactly.
Like, why were you taking on all this burden? I don't know.
You're right. There's a lot of family dynamic there. I mean, the parents might not have been around.
Yeah, that was
so
weird to me. Like, why do you feel so tired?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good question. I wonder what our listeners think out there. So, guys, go ahead and submit in your thoughts for us. Comment beneath us on our YouTube page, or reach out on Twitter. Twitter's the best way. You can tag McCall and I directly on your tweet, and we'll get your messages and read them out on the air. Let us know what you think of Maria's family out there. Use that hashtag ABTV. Ray Donovan, also make sure you're subscribing to us on iTunes and YouTube. Give us a thumbs up there on the YouTube page. Next, Hector and Marisol. I predicted this a couple weeks ago. The shit hit the fan. Marisol went and did the interview and told the world she's messing with her brother.
We should use the song "Secret Lovers" for them. I don't know if Voice of God can get that playing, but "Secret Love" that is their theme song.
Yeah.
She's tacky. She's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like, where do you expect this to go?
Yeah, I don't sympathize with the character. I don't see her as incredibly layered as compared to the other people on the show. Lisa Bonet is a great actor.
Oh, yeah.
Loved her. Love her in a lot of stuff. But I think there's just one mission from Marisol this season, and that's to mess up Hector's life as much as possible.
But my whole thing is, girl, what are you getting out of it?
Yeah.
What are you getting out of it? She's not even thinking long term. She's not thinking long term at all.
Yeah,
you might get an appearance fee here, an appearance fee there. Girl, in 6 months, nobody will care.
Yeah, and she's doing drugs and is just not thinking of her or her brother's best interest.
She's really burning the bridge, because at some point, people are going to stop caring about her and that story, and she's going to need some money again. And he's really not going to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
You're blowing your drug money.
Yeah. It's a really bad situation for Hector, and he responds to it by getting drunk with the guys. And I'm not. Your world's just been destroyed. Your fight's been canceled. I get that, sometimes we go to, those types of characters would go drinking to handle their issues. But I think I wanted to see him get more dark in that moment and just like, everything is over. I've lost my career, my wife, my kids. The whole world knows this about me now. I wanted to see that terror build within him for a little bit.
Now, I didn't think about it while I was watching it, but you make an excellent point, because he acted like, oh, my girlfriend left me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's a great point.
That's what people go get drunk when somebody breaks up with you. And,
Yeah.
Just his attitude about it. It did kind of feel like, well, my girlfriend left me.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like a guy who really lost it all.
Yeah.
Because if you break it down the way you did, that is kind of rock bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, that's rock bottom for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't play that one well.
I mean, I don't think.
Well, I mean, it's
it was
not his fault.
structured. I don't think it was structured right, because I think, where's the phone call from the wife?
Right.
Where's the the announcement that things are getting canceled that he sees on TV? I wanted to see all that because, we've seen bits of Hector all season long. It's never been consistent. Sometimes they'll disappear for a couple episodes and then they'll come back. We had the first 2 episodes with them. They've largely been disappeared for the last 5, and now they've come back the last 2.
He tends to drink a lot, though.
Yeah.
He tends to drink a lot.
In the episodes that he's in, we see a lot of drinking from Hector. But yeah, I agree with you. It felt like my girlfriend left me, and I need to get with my boys and go drinking and get distracted. And yeah, he even gets up and like starts dancing around and boxing in the ring and just like laughing up and having a good time. And I think there's an element of gallows humor. Like, things are just so bad, I just need to laugh at it. But that is just a world-destroying event.
Well, I kind of feel like he hit rock bottom when he talked about wanting to kill himself.
Yeah. Yeah, he did, but
A little
did
bit.
you believe it? I didn't believe him.
No, I didn't really believe him.
I
But
want attention. I'm going to kill myself. That's what it felt like to me.
I feel like people just say that, just say it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, all right, do it then.
Right, exactly.
Do it, Hector.
Yeah, so listen, I really like the actor, and I hope that the rest of the season we're going to see the repercussions of this event, but it was also neatly tied up. Ray goes and gets the fight back for Hector, and now Hector's back on, and Marisol is who knows where. Maybe she'll show up again and cause some more chaos.
I hope not. I hope
But-
Marisol jumps off the dang U.S. Bank Tower. I hope she jumps off the Staples Center. I'm so sick of her. She's so stupid.
Yeah, she's just there to screw things up. And, what is her goal? Does she want to marry Hector?
This is what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
What is her... Again, you don't really have a support system beyond Hector.
Yeah.
Where else are you getting money from? So why are you burning that bridge?
Yeah.
I just don't get the thought process.
You got to be smart with your money, man. With your sugar daddy.
That's her sugar brother baby daddy. Sugar bratty.
Sugar bread.
Brother and daddy. Sugar bratty.
That's really good, yeah.
Ugh.
I totally agree with you.
Marisol, go jump.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
so sick
no,
of you.
come on. She's going to, well, I don't know what's going to happen with her. We're going to have to see.
Now, wait. Now,
Yeah.
I have a pretty... Okay, I got to...
Wait, save it.
I don't have a pen. But I do have a prediction now that... Okay.
All right, let's wait. Let's do one more topic, and then we will get into our predictions in just a minute here. But let's just box this whole thing up by saying that I really liked Daryl tonight.
Yeah.
I thought Pooch, friend of the show, Pooch Hall, liked the way that he handled his assignment. Going and just like being his genuine self, his naive self,
Yeah.
meeting a boxer and saying, hey man, really great to meet you, champ. And it's just like he converted that guy to being like Hector.
Yeah.
It was very natural for him, and I think he really wants so badly to be a Donovan brother and be accepted and be on their level that he'll do anything for Ray.
Exactly.
Including nailing a guy with some brass knuckles in a back alley.
Yeah. I really like that scene as well, and again, I think it proves that he wants to be down so bad. He wants to prove that he can be a tough guy.
Yeah.
Now, when he ran off like that, now this is what I wanted him to do. I wanted him to punch him and say something real slick and then run off.
Okay.
That's all I was waiting on.
But I don't think he wasn't a genuine enemy. This was just some guy that he had to hit, you know?
Yeah.
What did you want him to say? Like, yeah, got you, bro.
Yeah, like that.
Okay.
That's what I wanted. Like,
But I don't think he was like a real enemy, you know? It was just like, oh, I kind of got to do this. I kind of have to hit you right now. And then I'm going to get the heck out of here.
now, did you notice he picked up something before he went out? Was it a car key or something? I mean,
What do you mean?
right before Daryl got up from the bar,
Yeah.
he grabbed something.
It was his brass knuckles.
Okay, so that's why he had that. Okay, so he had the brass knuckles on.
Yeah. So he pulled them out and then he put them in his pocket. And then when he walked outside, he had a bit of conversation. And then he put his hand in his pocket
Okay.
to put the knuckles on and then went out. And hit
That's
him.
why the gash was so bad. See,
Yeah.
I didn't wear my glasses while I was watching it, so some things were blurry.
It's okay.
Some things were really blurry.
It's totally cool. Yeah, and the way it was, executed was a little bit strange because we saw the brass knuckles and then they went away, and then he walked outside and put them back on again. So a little bit confusing.
Because I was thinking, like, dang, if your car keys can do that, like, I need to like keep my car keys with me in my hand and kick. Okay.
So that is totally clear. Any final topics that we need to cover that you wanted to talk about before we move into our final segment?
Well, I just want to say that I liked Abby telling Connor about her cancer.
You did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think that was the greatest scared straight moment and approach for him.
Okay. I think that's a fair point. I've never been, a big fan of Abby, but I think the way... listen, this whole Abby thing could be cured by saying it's stage 2 cancer.
Right.
That would be legit for me. But because it's stage 0, which is not really cancer, I mean, it is cancer, but 93%... You guys have heard me if you've listened to the show at all talk
and
about
Frank does his research. You guys, he always comes with an article or something, like,
That's right. I mean, but this logic problem could be so simply solved. So this cancer thing is just not ringing true for me, but I get where you're coming from, where it was a mother-son connection moment between the two. And, hopefully it brings them closer and Connor can be more real and, go back to being a teenage boy and not trying to be like his dad.
Please.
Anything else?
No. The Abby and Connor cancer reveal. That was the one that really kind of...
Good. All right. We like that one. Well, let's move into our final segment of the show. As always, which is our predictions for the next week. It gives us a chance to look really silly.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV prediction.
All right. I'll go first because I just quizzed you twice. I think Teresa's going to get better. I think she's going to recover from her postpartum depression because I think Bunchie has just given a heroic effort toward her in winning her back and, not judging her problems. She said some awful things to him, this week, last week, the week before, I wanted to slit your throat, I wanted to kill you, and he would not leave. And I love that because it's a reversal from when they first met.
Yeah.
Bunchie was not in the position to really go after what he wants, and he was afraid of her, and, she took charge and said, you're going to marry me, you're going to take care of me, and put it all on the line, and now we have the reverse, where Bunchie's saying, no, you are not going to let me go. I am here for the long haul. You're my wife, and you're Maria's mother, and we're going to make this work. And I just love the turnaround.
It's a real man.
Yeah, it's a real man. He's putting himself online. He's vulnerable, and I don't think all that effort's going to be unrewarded. I think we'll see Teresa come back strong. What's your prediction? And we'll come back. I'll do another one.
And my predictions always come as we speak.
As we talk, okay.
You know what I
So
mean?
what do you think of that one?
Hector, well, and I like that
Okay.
one. I think Teresa will get better. But I think that Bunchie, again, he has a newfound sense of responsibility and strength because he's basically been a single father now. He knows he can do it. So if she tries anything stupid again, he's going to tell her to take her ass on somewhere and get out.
Yeah.
Because he can do it by himself. I think he believes in himself and his support system enough. If she tries anything out of line again, he's going to be done with her.
Okay. Interesting.
That's what I think.
I like it. I think you have
I think
solid
he
reasoning.
He feels empowered now. He knows that he has the strength. His family's behind him. Teresa, if you want to go down that road again, girl, I'm cool. I can take care of me, the baby, and Mick. We're good.
Okay. We've got a couple competing predictions here. We'll have to see how they turn out as the rest of the season goes on. There's 4 episodes left. That's it. We've got 9, 10, 11, and 12. So the next 4 weeks should be really interesting. Go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just wanted to say that regarding Hector,
Yeah.
I think that if Marisol, let's say mysteriously, right, Marisol falls off of the Staples Center roof and dies. I think that would break him down more than him losing his fights and his money. I think the idea of Marisol being gone completely, that would break him down.
Okay.
That's what I think would break him down. And I think that might happen.
You think she's going to die somehow?
Because she's running her mouth too much.
What if
Somebody's going to axe her.
What if the night of Hector's fight, wherever the venue is, she throws herself off the roof of that venue?
I could see it happening.
Yeah.
Because she's an attention whore.
Yeah, no doubt.
She's an attention whore.
I don't know why you would want to put yourself through that kind of attention in an interview.
Because see, right now, she's an attention whore, and she's just telling stories, right?
Yeah.
But we live in the internet age.
Yeah.
People want to see the actual proof. I'm sure she's got pictures.
Oh, man.
Text messages.
Oh,
She's
man.
going to start leaking everything. Somebody's got to axe her.
Yeah.
She's talking too much.
Wow.
Because this is just
You heard
internet
it here
history.
first. McCall Hall calling for the axing.
No, because this is what happens when somebody decides to spill tea, as we say. Tell somebody's business. There's always a progression. Excuse me. First they just tell the story. Then they say, well, we need proof. The music. We need proof. Okay, here's the picture. Oh, and now here's the recording. Kanye West, Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift said, I didn't say this. Kanye said, oh, yes, she did. Then Kim leaks the actual video.
Yeah.
There's a lead up. There's more coming out of Marisol's possessions.
Okay, that'll be interesting.
And they have to stop her before she gets crazy.
I hope that would be great. That'd be a great final arc for this last third of the season. What do you think of Mickey? Is he going to go win his girl back?
I hope so, because I actually like them together.
Yeah, it's great.
They're funny.
He has a certain type, and he goes after that type, and I respect him for doing that.
I think he's going to go back and get her.
Good.
But I'm just trying to figure out, so he's going to bring, I can't think of her name right now, but the singer from Vegas, he's going to bring her back to California and live at the Donovan house?
I mean, that's the biggest question. Like, what's his
Where are they
plan?
gonna go?
Yeah, I don't even think he has a plan. I think he's just going to say, come on, we'll figure all that out later. We're going to make this all happen. Yeah, one time he asked her to go to Boston with her earlier this season. So, I don't think Mickey's going to Boston. I don't think any of the family's going back to Boston.
He doesn't have any money.
Well, he doesn't have any money, and his family's all here, remember?
Yeah.
I mean, and this show would really suck if Mickey weren't in it. So I really want him to stay and stick around because Jon Voight is so good.
I secretly wish Mick were like a real person that I knew.
Yeah.
Because he's very sinister, like you can see it in his eyes, but he's also very like warm and inviting too.
There's like a little boy in his eyes too, like a
Yes.
playful little boy.
Like I want to pinch his cheeks every time he pops up on the screen.
Yeah, and as stupid as he is, and all the dumb things that he's done to get his family into trouble, you still kind of root for the guy.
Yeah, I like Mick.
We pick Mick.
We pick Mick.
There's actually one of my favorite sandwich place to go in LA. There's a sandwich called the Mix Pick.
Oh, where is that
And
at?
I get that all the time. It's in Woodland Hills where I work, so
Okay.
yeah, it's a far drive, but yeah, Krika Italian Deli is amazing. They make a mixed pick.
I'm gonna go try one of those, and
Do it.
then I'll probably go to McDonald's and get a Mick Pick too.
Oh.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, I had McDonald's last night. Don't
Let
tell
me get
anybody.
a Mick Pick too.
Got the fries and the strawberry and cream pie. So good. Anyway, final thoughts before we close out for this week.
Final thoughts. I hope that everybody gets their girl back. Everybody.
Well, we got one half of that on the way, and we've got Mickey to look forward to next week. I really like this episode. I feel like this episode and last episode are taking the show really to a new level of this season.
Yeah.
And I hope they just keep building from there.
Absolutely. Well, actually, I take that back. Everybody get their girl back except for Hector.
Okay,
Marisol,
except for Hector.
jump.
Sage advice from McCall Hall, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. We'll be back next week at 10 p.m. McCall, where can the people find you on social media?
You can find me on social media when sports and pop culture collide at McCall Hall.
And I am Frank Maiorana. You can find me on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram at Let's Go Frank M. That's the show for this week. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening in. We'll be back next week. Go out, be blessed.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.